Hey guys, welcome back to our channel and I hope you're having an awesome day. Today we have an interesting EV company to discuss that has been around for over 10 years now and has recently been put under the spotlight now that green initiatives are being embraced by the Biden administration. And they have also been embraced by Ark Invest. We're talking about Workhorse, the electric vehicle truck manufacturer. So here's exactly what we're going to go over today. First, we're going to have a company overview. Then we're going to look at sales of the company. Third, we're going to look at finances briefly. And finally, we're going to look at my 2 cents for the company to hear what I think. So stick around. It should be fun. Welcome back, everyone. If you enjoy our content and you find it helpful, well, then make sure you like our video down below. Subscribe to our channel and turn on the bell notification so you can be notified every time we post a new video. And don't forget to comment down below with your thoughts on Workhorse and how the company might evolve over the next few years. For those of you that are new here, my name is Mark and I'm an exponential, transformative technology enthusiast. Along with my co-host Kevin, we explore the technology and business revolutions that are happening all around us and look for opportunities to invest in them. So today we're going to be looking at Workhorse Group, ticker WKHS. So Ark Invest has been buying into this company over the last week. So you can see over the week, they've bought $8 million worth of the company, and the weight has increased overall to about 2.56% of their total ArkQ portfolio. So it's interesting that they're increasing at a time that is really a critical point for the company. So Workhorse Group is an American manufacturer based in Cincinnati, Ohio, and they currently focus on manufacturing electrically powered delivery and utility vehicles. CEO is Dwayne Hughes, who's been in place for the last 2 years, since February of 2019, and the company was founded by Stephen Burns in 1998. So the company's been around for a while. They have 118 employees right now. They really have spent quite a long time trying to get up to speed as the market has caught up with their concept and idea. So the company has a couple of products out there. In terms of the transportation vehicle, they have delivery vans, which they're up to the C series right now. This C series is the sole US EV this C series is the sole US EV original equipment maker, OEM, in the $18 billion last mile space, which is a truck space. So the last mile electric rollout will likely be completed over the next 5 to 7 years. So this is going to be a quick transformation where the entire delivery fleet you see around us, that whether that's the Prime trucks, UPS trucks, Postal Service trucks, all of those last mile from the post office or the fulfillment center to your house, those will be switch over from internal combustion engine to gas power to electric power cars in the next 5 to 7 years. Quick transition. One thing you should also know is that Workhorse is the only EV company that is licensed in all 50 states right now. So they do have a lead time, and that's mainly because they've been around for almost 20 years. The area that they really focus on is the average fleet manager. So they go after what his thinking is, and they satisfy most of the criteria of what they'd want. First, the fleet managers are concerned about fuel. The average delivery van travels about 100 miles or less on a typical day. Currently, general electric vehicles, or vans I should say, have a range of about 152 miles to 160 miles per charge. That more than satisfies a day's work. Those vehicles can then be recharged overnight. But as you know, this field of batteries is exponentially improving. So that range will drastically increase over the next couple of years and should be even less of a factor going forward. So at this point, we've crossed the threshold where range of a charge is not a factor. The next consideration is lifetime operations cost. These are usually a primary purchase consideration because with a vehicle, these vehicles are the type that are used all day long and take a beating. So right now for a ICE or internal combustion engine vehicle, the operating cost is about $1 per mile. Now that's compared to an EV van, the electric vehicle, which is only 36 cents a mile, and that will fall over time. That's primarily because there's many fewer moving parts on an electric vehicle. So that really is a big factor for them. And of course, because these vehicles are so used and around for so long, maintenance costs are another big component. Last mile stop and go, they destroy ICE vehicle transmissions over time. The EV vans have no transmission. So there's a huge savings right there alone just by not having that component that is in the tens of thousands of dollars for an average size fleet per year. And finally, purchase costs. Right now, emission law credits, which started in California, they set the precedent for electric vehicles, have a voucher of up to $50,000 per truck vehicle, which receive a zero emission vehicle rating. Workhorse's vehicles have that rating, so they can have the voucher and can substantially help them with each vehicle that's purchased. Right now, 13 U.S. states and the District of Columbia have California's emission rules in place. So right now, the Workhorse vehicle is a well-positioned, more preferred vehicle than any ICE vehicle that's out there. It's just a factor of reliability and dependability on whether the company can produce the vehicles that are required. And we'll get into that in a second. The second product they have is called is a drone. It's called the Horsefly Delivery Drone. The Workhorse is right now the only company that offers electric vehicles that have an optional drone delivery system. The drone that they have is all electric, and it's actually fully autonomous. Although the autonomous component, I have not looked into too much, so I don't know how reliable it is, but it is fully autonomous. I don't know if it has Skydio levels or if it really needs Skydio levels for the type of work it's doing. It's not doing digging around under bridges or in areas that are very tight in space. It's really just doing it in open air from one place to another, avoiding poles and trees for the most part. These drones work in tandem with the vehicle, and also they're capable of carrying 10-pound packages at the moment. And so a 10-pound package covers about 80% of all packages delivered up to a 10-mile radius. So really, the drone, or multiple drones per vehicle, can deliver a lot of the packages that go out and substantially reduce the time for a round that a truck would have to do to deliver all the packages. One operator can load up many drones, send them out in a neighborhood, have them come back, move on to the next location. During the last quarter, the Horsefly was accepted by the FAA certification process. So right now they're in the final threshold to receive full certification. And with the FAA's loosened rules on drone flight and autonomous drone flight, this should help them even more. So the third product they have is telemetrics, and this is the software that enables them to track and monitor the vehicles and the drones that go around. So they have fleet operators will have a very good idea of how their fleet's operating and whether it's using the most efficiency and how to improve it over time. So the three work very well together overall. Moving on to sales and orders that the company has. Right now, Workhorse has really just the last year of all their multiple years of actual sales in place. And the last year's been pretty busy for them. It looked like it was slower, but it's really picked up. So let's just go through what's happened to Workhorse over the last year. First, there was the United Parcel Service, UPS, which is a test out with about 300 vehicles right now with Workhorse. Workhorse is back ordered. They have a backlog on about 1,700 electrical vehicles in total, but 1,000 of these are the ones that they still need to deliver to UPS. One is because their production process is not large enough to fill all these orders that fast and efficient enough. The other is that they had the pandemic hit their workforce. Actually, 1/3 of Workhorse's crew or staff of 90 was out sick in November. So they were not able to work for quite a while, and that delayed their ability to deliver these products. So UPS is an area where that can really ramp up in the future, and they've been testing out their Horsefly drone with them as well in limited areas. The next contract they had is with Pritchard, and this is an interesting one. They had 500 EV vans that were ordered. Now, Pritchard has 30,000 medium-duty truck sales each year. With the transition to electric, this 500 is a drop in the bucket and is a good test run. In addition to that, Pritchard is partly owned by Hitachi Capital America, and Hitachi has identified 47 dealers nationwide that are interested in purchasing about 300 to 500 EVs in the coming year. So that deal alone, if it comes to fruition, of course, would fulfill most of the orders they could handle during the year. So by having Hitachi, Pritchard line, other Hitachi associates, and potentially UPS orders, that's quite a bit. Now, just in the last couple of weeks, they had a deal with Pride. Now, Workhorse received an order from Pride that was about $315 million in revenue, or 6,320 of their Series C delivery trucks. This is pretty big, and the initial delivery will begin. The vehicles will be delivered in July 2021 and run through 2026. So it's a good 5-year window to deliver those. And the vehicles will be distributed through Pride dealerships using the fleet. So quite a few orders they have in place that should help them out no matter what happens going forward. And one of those things that could happen that most people are focusing on is the United States Postal Service. Now, here's how that works. After numerous delays, a $6.3 billion USPS contract has been put out there to replace its aging fleet of delivery vehicles. I think most of the vehicles that they are running should have been taken off the road 3 or 4 years ago, but they still have them running out there. And that was the long term of their life. So these vehicles break down. There's a lot of trouble with them, and they're just technically out of date. The contract has been, the bidding has been pushed out a couple of times, and right now is the last window for the USPS to make a decision. If one company got the whole contract, it would be 165,000 vehicles. Workhorse probably will just get a portion of that. Probably 1/3 of the vehicles at best is really what's going to happen, and that is probably more than they can handle. Since this is a total of 165,000 vehicles, there are 3 final bidders that are on this round. Workhorse is the only entrant that is a EV entrant, fully EV. The other 2 is Ford Oshkosh, that is internal combustion vehicle, and also a Turkish manufacturer, Carson, which I think is a hybrid. So, Workhorse has the upper hand here in terms of electric vehicle, which has been pushed by the Biden administration, and helping that the Biden administration has put a mandate that all vehicles be electric vehicle from the government going forward. So most likely they'll be chosen as one of the vehicles that is selected. Fulfilling is the problem. And one way they could do this is that they own 10% of Lordstown Motor, which has a much larger manufacturing facility. And Lordstown produces an electric pickup truck. If they land that contract, potentially the Workhorse can reconvert part of the Lordstown factory or manufacturing plant and start producing there. So they should be able to meet the demand that they're given. The one risk they have right now is that the bid might expire if the post office lets it, which could happen, and they'd have to start it over again. At that point, Ford and other manufacturers will introduce their new electric vehicles as part of the bid, which were not in place last time, and that could mean trouble for Workhorse getting the order. So my thoughts on this is that if the United States Postal Service contract comes to fruition, the company will be on very solid ground for a number of years and could see a substantial ramp up and be a major electric vehicle truck manufacturer and contender. But even without that contract, the worst case that they get zero from that contract, they should still be okay. They received the Pride contract last month. If they just get maybe two small contracts like that, they're already at 500 million in revenues for 2022 at least, and potentially 1 billion is attainable if they get one or two more. So $1 billion company without United States Postal Service, not a bad situation. In addition, they have the Hitachi relationship. That should bring on a number of clients just through them alone, outside of separate selling. And UPS might ramp up. They still have more drones to deliver. UPS wants to switch to electric vehicles as well, and they're in it for the long haul. But there is some competition there. There's a new company called Arrival, an electric vehicle company that could have an IPO this year, and Arrival has a relationship with UPS for an agreement as well. And the last area that is a big boost is President Biden. He wants to procure as many electric vehicles as possible at the federal level over the next few years. Plus, he'll probably be providing extended credits and vouchers for electric vehicles, and removing the subsidy for the gas industry, causing ICE vehicles to become even less desirable. I do have concerns about the executives. All board members and roughly a little greater than 5% of the stakeholders have already cashed out of the company. One board member sold out quite a bit the last couple of months. And also the CEO, CFO, and COO, and many others on the executive suite have cashed out between 25 to 75% of their stake. Not a good sign for their confidence in the company in the long term. We'll have to see where that heads. Additionally, financing for the Pride order had a dramatic increase. Okay, let me knock that out. Don't take that. So, and the final thing that I think might happen is a takeover. Right now, there are two companies that look like they could potentially take over the company within the next year as things roll out. One is General Motors. General Motors announced that they are going to start making delivery vehicles, but they really won't have the capabilities to do this until 2025. Because of the recent Nikola agreement they had to save face, they might want to take a serious look at Workhorse or Lordstown Motors as potential partners or buyout opportunities, because they actually have working prototypes, actual trucks on the market, as opposed to Nikola. So it seems like an easy win for them to purchase this, use their expertise to scale it up, and both companies would do well. The other one that's a potential buyer is Amazon. Amazon is currently working with Rivian. They own a good chunk of that company, which has orders for 100,000 electric vehicle delivery vans right now. They're going to have a tough time fulfilling that. They might need to look at a Workhorse and or Lordstown to help complete that capacity. So I don't see a lot of downside. I think their days of debt and being a company that just spends all their investments is over. It's a big turning point this year. Big turning point in a lot of the initiatives coming up. So I think this company is worth purchasing. It's just a question of whether it's worth purchasing at the inflated prices that we've seen lately. That's a separate deep dive. But overall, I think the company itself has a bright future, and I'm excited to see what they do. I'd love to hear your comments. Definitely leave a comment below, and we look forward to seeing you on our next company overview. Thanks.